Hello, I am Drag, and today I will be doing a movie review. Anybody who followed my channel for a while will know that I like to do movie reviews near the end of the years, just because they're fun, and because I tend to be doing my Christmas photo set at the time. So effectively what that means is I have more video footage than I normally would. On today's chopping block, we have a movie called Love Hard. Love Hard is a 2021 movie. It is basically about some chick named Natalie who goes across the country to surprise this guy that she was dating on an app for the holidays. And hijinks into, Christmas movie. Natalie's job is she does a newspaper sort of thing, and she talks about all the terrible dates she's gone on and whatnot. And she's been having some difficulty, apparently, finding bad dates in LA. Okay. The funniest thing about this whole thing to me was that the movie starts out by saying how difficult it is for her to find love and all this nonsense. And I'm just like, bitch, she is a conventionally attractive white woman smack in the middle of LA who lives by herself, and I can only assume how well her job is actually paying her, because she has a pretty nice place. It's not like some podunk dinky shack being held together by scotch tape and Elmer's glue. This is a nice place. Like, a really nice place. So I'm just like, okay, yeah. She must be like getting upwards of like $1 million. Jesus, just to live in LA. Okay. So, her friend, one of her work friends, tells her that maybe you should expand your circle of dating because, guys in LA suck. Guys everywhere suck, but So what she does is she makes her visibility the entire countrywide, which is absolutely hilarious. She ends up matching with this guy whose name is Josh. Josh is a very attractive individual. And she swipes and they match, and then they just start talking and talking. They're doing all this really weird stuff, bunch of weird stuff, and it's just movie romantic, whatever the fuck. So one night, it's around the holidays, because of course it is, and Josh sends her a message just oh, I wish you were here, and Natalie takes this to mean, oh, he actually wants me there. She makes the big brain decision to fly to the other side of the country, to a town that she has never been to, and surprise this guy. She somehow has his address. I don't know how she had his address. I mean, I guess we can assume that they did that. When she just kind of shows up there, she quickly learns that the guy that she thought she was talking to was not actually the guy that she was talking to. She was actually being catfished. The guy's name was actually Josh. But she was being catfished by a character played by Jimmy Yang, who is a very, very funny actor. And he actually kind of makes this character much more likable than the character actually should be. But I feel like that has more to do with the actor's charisma than the character's. She is rightfully annoyed and is about to fly to the other side of the country again. And he's just like, whoa. No. Okay. So she's pissed and she's beating him with a glowing baby Jesus. And she's like, what kind of psycho lies about who they are and on the internet? And then he's like, what kind of psycho flies to the other side of the country, unannounced? And then he tries to pull the race card, but the guy who he was pretending to be is also Asian, so it doesn't really work. So there's that. But I mean, it's quickly put back in the deck because there's no real weight to it, which is actually something that I like. I'm very tired of people pulling the race card. But that's a whole other thing. That is its own thing and does not need to be brought up in this video. But they mentioned it in the movie, so I'm going to say it. Josh says that he will help Natalie, hook up with this guy named Tag. And Tag, so the guy playing Tag, I actually know him from this show called Never Have I Ever. It's actually a really good show and I highly recommend it. But he is actually appropriately age cast for this one. In Never Have I Ever, we were expected to believe that he was a 17-year-old, but in this one, he's actually cast as an adult in his late 20s, and he looks like he is in his late 20s, so this works. Tag is basically your typical country You're good-looking country boy who loves the outdoors and loves everything about being outside. He loves hunting, he loves bobsledding, he loves rock climbing, you know, very physically active person. And Natalie is attracted to that because of course she is. I didn't mention this before, but I'm going to mention it now. Natalie is a very unlikable character. She is very pretentious, she is very self-centered, very ego-driven. Well, okay, I wouldn't say ego-driven, but she's very in her own head, very... You can tell that she's from LA, because all of her sensibilities come from LA. And if you don't agree with her LA sensibilities, then suddenly it's like, oh my god, you're the worst person in the world, like, I don't want to be around you. Because LA is just that place. LA is a bubble, and she is a very bubbled character. So basically, Josh is telling her that Tag's favorite poet is Thoreau, I believe, and she's like, oh my god, I fucking hate that guy. Thoreau is such an asshole. And then like Josh was like, yeah, well, if you want to get the D, you gotta pretend to like it. And it was one of those moments where I'm just like, I don't see that a lot. Normally, it's the man always having to acclimate himself to the woman to get her, and then he learns, it's like, oh, well, I don't like her. And that's basically all Tag exists to be. Tag is just the character that makes Natalie come to terms with, maybe I shouldn't pretend to be someone I'm not to, like, get this guy. Because he and I both share the same belief that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, but a movie that just so happens to take place during Christmas. And yeah, that's all I'm really gonna say about that. She goes on dates with Tag, she does all this stuff with him, and Josh is helping her all the way. Like, so they want to go rock climbing. Tag, well, okay. I should probably tell you how they first meet. So, Natalie also has like an allergy to kiwis. When she storms off and sees that Tag is actually a person in this town, she's like, oh shit, I'm going to sing a Christmas song in front of this guy. I forgot what song she sang, but it wasn't a Christmas song. But before she goes on stage, she like takes 2 shots that she actually stole from 2 other people that had ordered them, and that's like, ooh, this girl's annoying. That she stole from like 2, like the bartender put them down, she just snatched them up, downs both of them, then's like, I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna like sing this song, I'm gonna seduce this guy. And so, but they have kiwis in them. So when it's like this whole reveal, it's actually kind of funny. I was watching this with my brother and he thought it was funny once he realized. She turns around and her face is swollen to hell because she is having an allergic reaction to these kiwis. She's like trying to be all sexy and like everything, and it's just not working because like she's having an allergic reaction, but her voice is crystal clear. That's one of the things. So before she went on stage, she was like, yeah, no, I'll be fine. You know, kind of like the whole Hitch thing when he ate the shellfish. And like he didn't know that he was allergic to seafood. Yeah, it was that scene. It was pretty funny, you know, except for the realism of her voice being crystal clear. But when she sees herself in the mirror, she's like, oh shit. And then she just kind of like runs out, and Tag does not recognize her because, you know, the first time he saw her, her face was swollen. Josh is there. Oh shit. He found the baby glowing Jesus outside the bar. He's helping her. She's like, oh, where's my EpiPen? She can't get her EpiPen in time, and she passes out in the snow, face first. And then she wakes up at a vet. Josh has taken her to a vet to get her stomach pumped, you know, basically to save her, because the nearest hospital was like on the other side of town, and they were just like, yeah, so it was either this or you'd be dead. That's actually when Josh says that he will help her get Tag if she pretends to be his girlfriend, because the family liked the idea of him having a girlfriend, especially around the holidays, and because he kind of wants to show up his douchey brother, and that is their agreement. So Josh will help her get Tag. She will pretend to be his girlfriend. You guys can already see where this is going. When Josh introduces Tag to Natalie, he tells Tag that they are cousins. Yeah, you already know where this is gonna go. And they basically like hit it off right away. I mean, she's kind of like dressed country because, you know, it's the middle of winter in like, I believe, a Midwestern town. He has her like say, yeah, no, you need to wear this because right now you look like an LA girl, and he is not attracted to LA girls because they're kind of pretentious. He doesn't actually say that. I mean, it's like, yeah, but Tag doesn't like LA girls. He likes, you know, down-to-earth country girls or something like that. They meet, they're introduced as cousins, and it's very funny too because Josh looks Asian, right? And Natalie looks white. Tag is somewhere in the middle of those two, but he's vaguely Asian enough. It's funny because he's like, you two are cousins? And like my brother and I were just making a joke like, oh yeah, she's like my cousin 18th removed or something like that. Just like ridiculous. So they go on, they schedule a rock climbing date, which Natalie's like, oh yeah, no, I can do that. But the thing is, Natalie's afraid of heights. She doesn't know that she's afraid of heights until she's up there and they're climbing. Josh basically goes up there to save her ass. He's like, oh, because she's kind of up in the fetal position on the date at the top of the rock wall. She's like, I can't do it. I can't go down there. And he's just, all right, just don't look down. And then he pushes her out and she just kind of like flies down and like has a perfect landing. And then Tag is like, whoa, that's pretty cool. She's like, oh, thanks. So in between those two scenes, we get to meet Josh's brother and girlfriend, who I believe both of these actors were on Glee. I don't know. I've never seen Glee. I've been told that one of them was on Glee, but I'm pretty sure that they both were. Josh's brother is a douche. He's a douche to like the max. He's just like, very passive aggressively taking jabs at Josh. And he was showing this awkward picture of Josh when he was a teenager. And then Natalie, self-righteous Natalie, comes up. And granted, I do appreciate what she was doing. She's, oh, well, I'm actually glad for my awkward years because if it wasn't for my awkward years, who knows, I would have grown up to be like a complete asshole. And this moment in any other bad movie would be like oh my god, she burned his ass. But no, he comes back with the retaliation, just like, former Chubster. And then like that was the end of that conversation. It was the best thing in the world. It made me laugh. I love that scene just because it wasn't like this whole, oh yeah, she's witty, she's not like other girls. Like she can hold her own. And yeah, she can. At the same time, like, there's some people who are just a bit, like, better with the jabs. And, that was just very funny to me. So, after rock climbing, the family goes Christmas caroling. And, oh boy, what can I say about Christmas caroling in movies? Earlier, basically when the brother is singing, he is singing flat. Oof, it is not. But then again, that's kind of the point. So, Natalie and Josh Josh basically volunteers to sing the next song, and the song is Baby It's Cold Outside. And this is one of the other reasons I don't really like Natalie. She's very as I said, LA, and with that comes the ideology of LA. And she's like, oh yeah, no, I don't like Baby It's Cold Outside because it's a non-consensual hugging song. They changed the lyrics, as you do. And they made the guy basically saying, yeah, sure, go. The door's right there. And it's just it's one of those songs where it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Whether the song is about forcible hugging or not, if you change the woman's lines, it becomes a song about, oh, I really can't stay. Well, there's the door. And they do that, and it's just as awkward as you think it would be. So the next day, Tag has invited her on a date, and she goes. They go bobsledding, but at first she thought that they were just going hiking. And when it is made known to her that they're actually going bobsledding, she hides in the bathroom and calls Josh. She's like, oh my god, I can't do this. I just can't do this. And Josh is like, no, just put on some music. You gotta relax. And then she finds some weed. Like, she finds a joint that she had in her backpack from an earlier scene when she first entered the town. So she gets high, and then she like goes bobsledding. And then they have a dinner date. This is kind of the moment where she's just like, oh my god, I don't like this guy. But like, he's hot. They kiss in the truck, and she's like, oh, but you can't drop me off at Josh's house. She's like, I have to drop me off like a block from there. And he's like, okay. While they were on the date, Josh's brother gets suspicious because Natalie wasn't there for some reason. I don't know why he was, but well, okay. I do know why he was suspicious. He's suspicious because he's jealous, basically. And while they were caroling, Josh had pseudo-proposed to Natalie to upstage him because he and his wife, or girlfriend, it doesn't matter, had announced that they were having a baby. So his brother is very skeptical on whether or not, like, it's real because they weren't hanging out, you know, because they weren't attached at the hip. I mean, that to me that just sounds like a healthy relationship. But this is a bad movie, so let's keep going. Josh's brother sees Natalie on a date with Tag, but we don't see him seeing him. No, we do. So he sees them on the date, and then he just like kind of keeps it to himself, you know, like as like a later gotcha bitch moment. But we'll worry about that later. The next day, Josh's grandmother has him and Natalie go speak to senior citizens about like online dating and like how to make a profile and stuff. And at this point, Josh is like in love with Natalie for some reason. I don't know. Don't ask me to explain that. She is not feeling Tag. And so he's saying how, honestly, this is one of the best scenes in the movie because he sends out this heartfelt diatribe and then the old folks in this home are just like, so wait, should I, basically the old folks just want to hook up. Which, you know, is like, they're not looking for love. They're looking to hook up. And that's just hilarious to me. I mean, yeah. But anyway, later on, the grandmother is just like sprinting, you know. You guys know how quickly like grandmothers can sprint. I'm not even joking there. Like they can sprint. And they go to this shop where Josh worked, and it turns out that they have a surprise engagement party for Natalie and Josh, which they hadn't even planned a day on when they're getting married. He didn't even have a ring. It's just one of those things where, like they even had it. There's this one inconsequential scene where they were hiding newspapers. They were stealing newspapers because apparently Josh's engagement was this huge thing that now it's going to be in the papers. And I'm like, stranger things have happened. But I'm just like, does this town really have nothing going on that a random couple getting engaged is newsworthy? Okay. So they're at this surprise party and Tag introduces Natalie to his parents as his girlfriend. And she's like, oh, girlfriend, wow, that's such an honor. And I'm just like, Tag, you too good for her. You too good for her. Ugh, I'm just saying that because he's hot. This is the whole cat's out of the bag scene, where Tag finds out that Natalie is the one that Josh is engaged to, and that they are not actually cousins. This is basically she's like, yeah, so the only reason why I actually came out here was because I was looking for a story that I could tell on my blog or whatever. This was what Josh's brother had found out when he was looking for her, which also brings up another inconsistency. So he was looking for her on the internet, but he couldn't find anything about her. And we were all just like, that doesn't make sense. Like, if she's published in like a paper or something, and she does this for a living, her name would come up. So it doesn't make sense. Like, even if she's under an alias. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. Then, like, they do the whole breakup thing or whatever. The boss is in this Midwestern town, and he's, yeah, so Natalie, this story is great. This story is gonna be great. We're leaving tomorrow. She's finally staying at a hotel, which I'm just like, why wasn't she staying at a hotel in the first place? Even if you thought that you were gonna be dating this guy from the beginning, wouldn't it still be a good idea? Especially since you thought that you were going to be surprising him. Shouldn't it be a good idea just like have that, you know, in your back pocket? The whole thing of this movie makes no sense. So she's having a bit of writer's block because this story actually it sounds like it'd be a pretty interesting story as long as you weren't living it. For some reason, she's swiping through whatever this universe's Tinder is, and she sees Josh, and he's actually using his pictures, and it says that he's a mile away, and so she swipes right on him for some reason. They match. It's a big happy ending, and that's the movie. They live happily ever after, and I'm just like, okay. Would I recommend this movie? Absolutely. 100%. You need to watch this movie. It is terrible, it is cheesy, and it is just my type of movie. It infuriated me almost every second, but it was the good kind of infuriating. It wasn't like Moxie infuriating. It was like Another Life infuriating. It's enjoyably infuriating because you can actually like point out like why these things don't make sense, but at the same time you also don't care because you realize that you're watching a bad movie. But yeah. That will be the video. Thank you for watching and listening. Like, subscribe, Follow me on all my other social medias. I have a Ko-fi too. If you want to donate, give me a Ko-fi on Ko-fi. And yeah, I will catch you guys next time. Bye!